Not sure who needs to hear this, but you should always have an emergency fund. When interest rates are high, you should have an emergency fund. When interest rates are low, you should have an emergency fund. If you're looking to buy a house, you should have an emergency fund. Looking to get married, you should have an emergency fund. Looking to have a kid, you should have an emergency fund. Trying to buy a car, you should have an emergency fund. You have a job, you should have an emergency fund. You don't have a job, you're going to be very thankful that you had an emergency fund. You should always have an emergency fund, regardless of the situation in the economy. I remember during the pandemic, you had a lot of people reaching out and saying, well, you shouldn't have an emergency fund right now. You should take your money, put it in the market, and earn some returns and blah, blah, blah. You don't see those people no more. See how easy they were here before and they're gone now? You should always have an emergency fund, regardless of what's going on in the economy, because you're always going to have an emergency. That's the one guarantee I will always give you. Something will always go wrong where you have an emergency and you need those funds.